I got kicked out. Anybody else?
Yeah, so did I.
Okay, good. Like, I'm not technically challenged. I just having a crazy day.
Hello. Hello. I am.
Computer did Mark get back in? I think all of us got kicked out.
All right, I'm back in.
What happened? We all got kicked out at the same time. April. Lisa. Hi, Mac.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am marvelous.
Good.
Once we get the technology figured out.
Not kidding. Crazy.
The only reason I got the laptop home was in that, so that I could record it, but if you have the way to record and upload it, then to YouTube, then I'll just get it and put it on the website tomorrow, if you wanna do that.
I think Jen is talking to Tommy.
Yeah. It was recording and then somehow I just got kicked out. I clicked it to go join back in and I think everybody's back in now. I think. Okay.
I see you.
I spy with my little eye.
All right, are we ready to go?
Yes,
Can we get a
please.
quorum here?
We have
So we
Mac,
got me.
Rebecca. Back.
Back, Rebecca,
April was here.
John
April
Lovingood.
was here.
April's there, Kevin is here,
Kevin.
and
April.
Mark, so that makes 5 of us.
John Lovingood just joined. All right, so that's everybody. Because Jason is not going to make it. He is flying.
Hey, Mark, is this an exec meeting?
No, it's open to the public.
Okay. How are you?
All right, Patty, I don't have the agenda in front of me, but I think we established quorum, right? What's next?
Just the discussion of the positions.
Fantastic. All right, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
I don't have it right in front of me now.
All right. All right, everybody, welcome.
He said
to the
John
first
and-
Hey, Jennifer, can you mute
Yep.
yourself, please?
Yep.
And Bill Boss, can you mute as well, please?
Yeah, I can.
All right. All right, so welcome everybody to the first official meeting of the newly elected HOA board. Everybody made it through the weekend. It's probably settling in now. What's next for me as an HOA board member? First and foremost, I want to address the most important development that Sean Rowland has resigned from the position of treasurer. We thank him for his many years of service to the Fishhawk Ranch West HOA. Filling his shoes will be Rebecca. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that Rebecca be appointed the treasurer of Fishhawk Ranch West HOA, since we did it in interim last time. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Kevin seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Might be easier. Any opposed?
For me, as long as everybody's comfortable with the transition and there's no to put the pressure on Rebecca, that's just my opinion, but no, I'm not opposing it as long as she's comfortable with the transition.
Yeah.
And
So,
that's
John,
just
maybe,
honest.
John, you might have missed, it might have cut out in the beginning there. So Sean Rowland resigned this
Yeah,
morning.
I know. I got the email. I did get the email.
Tracking.
Sorry.
All right. All right, Rebecca, congratulations. And just know that you are not in this alone, that we have a lot of bridges to cross as an HOA together, and we're going to do it as a team. And every task is a task to one and all of us. And if you ever at any time have any trouble, please feel free to reach out. You have lots of support.
I'm gonna need it. Thank you.
You'll get the hang of it. Trust me. You're going to do just fine. I fully have full faith and confidence in you.
I did too.
So what's next? So what's next for us, right? So what do we do next? We got to get through December, and where does that take us? So the next thing for the board members is it's baby steps. So first thing is finish your training. Do that online training that Patty sent out. You can do in person. You can do. There's a YouTube video you can watch and take the test. There's a lot of good information in there, but your education doesn't stop there. We're going to do a meeting with the lawyer where he's going to fill us in, and that's on, correct me,
Yes.
December 14th, correct, Patty?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, December 14th at 1500, right? 3 o'clock, sorry, 3 p.m.
Mhm.
3 p.m., perfect. All right, so and that's going to be very educational. So please make that if you can. We'll set up another one for those board members that can't make it. And George is a wealth of knowledge. 1 second here. All right, hold on a second. They send, okay. Somebody's texting me, they couldn't get into the meeting. Okay, the next step for after you do the training, or maybe while you're doing the training, I would encourage everybody to dig into those governing documents. These are the things that will rule our lives for the next 1 or 2 years. So start with the charter. That's the broadest governing document for our community, and then work your way down to the bylaws. Do the master bylaws. I would start there. And then, like I said before, each individual community has its own bylaws. So look through those as well, because there's some unique things for each of our sub-service areas. I would also say, if you feel that you still want additional training and you feel like, you know what, this is especially true for officers of the board. There's lots of additional HOA training out there. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry, I'm up in the Northeast in Boston where it's about 40 degrees outside and in between business interactions up here. So it's chilly. So yeah, so anyway, additional training is available for any board member that wants it. You can seek it out. And we do have budget line items to if it's a cost or it's a fee for that training, we can address that and bring it to the board and bring it to Patty, and we can get reimbursed for that. There's nothing better than additional training. I value training very highly. Some of the things we got going on is our budget. So our budget, congratulations, we all approved a budget, and it was mailed out Friday to those people that said that they did not want to do business with the HOA electronically. So I think that's roughly 40 homes in the HOA, got it mailed out to them. For everyone else, it is posted on Appfolio in the files section. So everyone in the community can go on there and see what our budget is for next year, take a look at it. And it starts January 1st is when that budget kicks in. Also, money-wise, we have some heavy lifting to do here in the near future. So we are working on our 2022 audit still. And that needs to get done. That is our priority. That is our financial priority going into the new year. This must be completed. So me, Patty, the treasurer, we are working hand in hand, and everyone else on the board. When it comes time to find a receipt that is buried in the files that Associa gave us, that are labeled file 1, file 2, Alpha 1687, Bravo 1342, like file names like this, where you got to go find something. It's going to be an all hands on deck effort. So if we can't find something, the four of us will reach out to the board and say, hey, can you assist? Help us look through these files and find this paperwork.
Hey, Mark,
But the audit,
let me pause 1 second right there. Since I'm already in an audit form, is there a tracking list of open and closed items for this audit?
yes, we are working with the auditor to get that list of items. He sent us the first email today of things he's looking for, and
Okay.
Patty is looking for those items. So I think she's got that under control.
I'm just, from my perspective, I just want everybody else to know, even though I work for a very massive consulting auditing firm, I'm not transpiring my work ethics to here. I'm just doing my experience and what I've gone through from an audit perspective. So that's just all my questions. So it's just if there's a tracking list, a centralized tracking list, and who can conquer what and who needs to do what. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying, hey, we need to impose where I work to this HOA, because this is HOA. This is a public personal space for everybody. It's for, community. That's all I'm getting. I'm not saying we have to do what the company that I work for has to do. I'm not saying that. I've been involved in plenty of audits, even from a private sector to a gov sector. So that's all. Thanks.
That's awesome input, John. I really like that idea. You're talking about making some sort of central tracker for every item we're missing that
Correct.
we can assign responsibility. I love it. That's a great idea. And we'll get to that. We'll work with the auditor
I'm not
on
saying
that.
everything's going to be fixed on this call. I know we're just getting going. So I'm just putting that input.
Sure.
For our start. Thanks.
Yeah, I like it, John. Thank you. So once we finish the 2022 audit, a lot of you heard that we have 3 audits going on, and that's technically true. So we got the 2022 audit we have to finish, and I just spoke about that. And then right around the corner is the 2023
Muted.
audit. What's that? Can you hear me all right?
Mhm.
All right. So the 2023 audit will kick off January 1st, and that must be completed by April 1st and given to the community as our responsibility to do that. So again, that's going to be another all hands on deck effort. It shouldn't be that difficult because all of those files will come from when we were running the board this year. So we will have all of those. It'll basically be turning the files over to the auditor. It should be done in 4 to 6 weeks. And that shouldn't be that big of a deal. The third audit that is ongoing is by our new bookkeeping company. And this is just their audit of our books so they can assume responsibility. So it's the Balanced Asset Solutions is our new bookkeeping company, and they're doing an audit, and we'll assist them with their audit as well. In the near future, some of our things we're going to get done next month at our next meeting, we're going to confirm all of our committees, and then we're going to, at some point, conduct a call with the bookkeeper in the next month or two for the officers of the board and for the management team to sit with the bookkeeper, and anyone else is welcome to sit in on it, but sit with the bookkeeper and talk about our financial way forward. So that's kind of where we are and where we're going in the next month. And I hope that kind of helps, gives a little bit of direction to all the board members. Those were the big things that I wanted to get done during this meeting. It wasn't intended to be a long meeting. At this point, I'll open it up to board member comments.
Mark, one of the things that over the past several days that has come up that the auditors were looking for were board minute approvals. So minutes that, I guess the long and short of it is we take minutes and at the following meeting we approve. And I guess there are a couple of items from 2022 where we don't have the approval or where the secretary was absent, didn't take the minutes. So they never got officially approved, but we have recordings of the meetings. So I just want to call that out because as we go forward, I want to make sure procedurally, because that's been a sticking point with the auditors, that we make sure that we're doing that, each meeting.
Absolutely, Rebecca. Thank you very much for bringing that up. And to fill that gap, I think we should pose that question to our lawyer. Can we, after the fact, develop minutes that go along with the recording to see if that fits the bill? Or do we just have to write a memo that says minutes were not recorded during this meeting, they're unavailable? So we'll pose that question to George and see what he says.
Well, usually,
And then,
Mark, because the board that board was no longer present, you can't approve them.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, sounds good. I'd still like to ask George what his opinion is on that.
Okay.
And then, I mean, even if we make a memo for the record, right? Not minutes, but memo for the record or something of that nature, so that somebody looking back doesn't have to watch a 3-hour Zoom meeting to know what was talked about during that meeting. Anyone else with any comments?
I'd like to talk about Sean's email and just a few concerns that I have. It seems like he's at the head of several committees, and he seems to, and this is my personal opinion, to be struggling with the finding time to work towards getting these audits completed. And so I think it may be best for him to step down as the head of those committees, even temporarily, until the audits during his tenure are completed and done. That way he can focus his time and effort on those things that we need to do to clean up for the HOA prior to him having to kind of try to balance prioritization of any other responsibilities for the HOA that he may have. This would be the, I think, number one priority. And I don't want those responsibilities to get in the way of that. So I don't know how to best go about that or how best to recommend it, but I don't think he needs to be serving in any other capacity temporarily until those things are complete.
Mac, your opinion?
Thoughts? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I concur. And so I think it's, and he's already identified that he does not have the capacity or the wherewithal or perhaps the desire to continue. Although he says he would like to in those, but they're part, the finance committee particularly is part and parcel with the audit and the budget. So I would, I didn't know if that was a motion, but I would make a motion to say that effective today, Sean Rowland is not the treasurer. We've already accepted his resignation, but that he's no longer the chair of the finance and the election committee. And then when we meet later in the month or early next year, and if we reconstitute, he can volunteer to do it again. But I think the board should make a decision on the makeup of those committees. That's my opinion.
So you made a motion, Mac?
I'm willing to make a motion. Yes, I made a motion to at least change leadership and therefore have no chair in the finance or the election committee at this time, and the board can reconstitute those as we move forward and volunteers come forward and work with those committees. We need to talk to the committee members and see if they want to continue also. I think we just reevaluate all of the committees and at this point just make a recommendation that we don't have chairs for either of those committees at this time.
I believe there's a third committee as well. He listed the WL committee.
That's Westlake.
That's an internal Westlake.
Yeah, no. I wasn't
issue.
sure. I was like, I'm not sure what WL means, but
Westlake.
got it.
That's
Yeah.
Westlake.
So I don't think we need to get involved in that one.
Yeah.
No, I'm concerned about conflicting priorities within our own HOA, and making sure we focus on the finances until they're complete. Once they're complete, I don't have any issue with anything else he wants to do within the HOA, but that needs to be the priority. Personal opinion, I'm welcome to open discussion and hear everybody's views before we do a motion moving forward. But
Well, we need a second before we can continue the conversation.
There is no motion.
Okay.
I just made a motion for it that way. Yes.
So we need a second to discuss.
I'll
Well, then
second
I'll
Mac's
second.
motion. Okay. Vice, you got it.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second so we can discuss and then move forward on a vote.
I think it's a great idea. The election committee did a great job. I think we rest them until the next election and reconstitute a new committee. And as well as the finance committee, we retire them as well and then reconstitute when we are focused on that initiative.
Let me clarify if I may. I don't think I was making a motion to adjourn both of the committees. I just was making a motion to say that Sean Rowland should not be the chairman of those committees, and that as we move in and we reconstitute, if there's members of the election committee that like being on the election committee, I don't think we should make them reapply. Same thing with the finance committee. Do they want to continue? And we'll hold it. And I think the treasurer can sort of meet with the committee and see what's going on. And the election committee doesn't meet until the end of next year anyhow. So I think if people are volunteering for the committee and still want to volunteer for the committee, I wouldn't ask that we disband
I wouldn't
them.
deter from that. Yep, I agree.
I mean, that's what I have is actually, you actually said change
Yep.
leadership of, you didn't say disband the
Correct.
committee.
Okay.
So just basically suspend the chairperson's role in those two committees until it's the later date.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll second
All right.
that one.
Yep. All right, let's put it to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 I,
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. And for everybody's knowledge, in January, that will be, remember I said, so in January, we could reconfirm the committees. So in January, what we do is we take a new look at all the rosters for every committee and we go down the list and we say, okay, who's active, who's not? We reach out to those members. Are you interested in still being on? And then at that time, we reappoint new chairman as needed. All right, that's concluded. Any other board member comments?
for me, and it's just not it's not a picky thing, because Mark, I work for a sub for the Gov. My only thing, and it's nothing personal, but just I just, from coming into this, I want to help out wherever I can and do what I can for the neighborhood. Just for me, I know this is and surrounding Tampa area and stuff like that. I just want to make sure we're not being coming from a military post and things like that, that it's not like what we did in the military, this is what we did. I think that just so that's clear, that it's not the military, it's just, a neighborhood that we all abide by and things like that. I get it, because I have to go through all the rules and the NIST 800 compliances, the STIGs and all that stuff for what I do from my work perspective. That's just my only comment. It's not a complaint. It's just a, hey, set base, we need to do this in this neighborhood. And I think that's just something to point out. That's all. Nothing other than that. I'm excited to help out and carry the load and help out where I can.
Acknowledge. Thank you, John. Other comments?
Mr. Boss?
Now, I just want to wish everybody congratulations to the new board and wish everyone a great holiday, moving forward. You got a lot of work to do, but you have great foundations to stand on, and looking forward to seeing you guys when I come back down in January.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Happy holidays to you
Thanks,
too,
Bill.
Bill.
No
Thank
problem.
you, Bill.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
And
On that note, Patty, I guess if no other board members have comments, we can definitely open it up to community comments.
Anybody in the community have something to say?
No, I think you got, well, this is Bert. I'm the 80-pound gorilla in the room.
Hi, Bert.
I think that this is a step in the right direction. It's a long time coming. I think the new board is definitely going to move the community forward. I would like to see a couple of things, whether they're on the January agenda or the February agenda. I know you guys are booked and trying to close out audits. I'd like to see the delegate thing revisited. Patty and I have had a conversation about this. I owe Patty, I think you need to lean on Patty as new board members. For anybody that doesn't know, Patty holds what is considered a doctorate in property management. I think all too often the former board didn't take her, it's not legal advice, but take her direction. You hired Patty to basically guide you through all of the Florida statutes, the covenants, the subdivisions, and I'd kind of like to see the board lean on her a little more. Now, that's entirely up to you folks, but I'd like to see sometime in January. I really feel strongly that there's an opportunity. I live in Sagewood, folks. I really feel there's an opportunity maybe to take a look to revisit the Sagewood budget. Patty was very instrumental in helping me get there. There are still some items that my homeowners would like to see, if possible. I have to defer to Patty on that. I don't know if we need 20% of the 76 people here
Mhm.
to put the budget forward to the board. I will work with Patty on that. But I think there's some things that we can adjust within the Sagewood budget. And the other important thing is, and I agree with Patty here, there is basically no representative from Sagewood that has an avenue to the board. And the delegates would solve that. We are the highest assessed service area, but no representative on the board, near the board or attached to the board. So all I'm asking for is, I don't know what that process looks like. It can be done in February, it can be done in March, but it's really painful to be paying what we're paying. And Bill, I love your shirt. To be paying what we're paying and have no avenue to express the community's concerns other than work orders. That's all I'm saying.
So yeah, hey, thanks for that comment. So I've been taking that on, and I've actually discussed this, you know, in context with Patty too, because I brought up that conversation with a few neighborhood friends from each different sections of the neighborhood, that I think it's beneficial to have some sort of representative from each section of the neighborhood to have some sort of consensus to bring it up to the board. It's just, you know, to me, and just my opinion, we need to meet quorum for that. You know, if certain sections of the neighborhood, for my opinion, have, you know, owners, but they're renting it out, and the owners maybe not care about things that are going on right now versus actual owners that live in the neighborhood, that's a different matter. But I think it's important to have a representative. That's why I actually reached out my hand to put my hat in to vote this year, to have a say for where I'm at in Sandpiper, right? You'll get a different issue, you know, there might be different issues for different, you know, sections of the neighborhood. I'm not disagreeing with, I agree that there should be somebody to be appointed that. It's just, to me, the effort and least to get the amount of votes quorum to meet this new committee was a struggle.
Mhm.
So if we you know, come up with a solution to find us a delegate for each section of the neighborhood, then you know, I'm all ears for it. But I mean, we were pressing for weeks to get just to meet the minimum requirements to have a quorum, to have, you know, a selection for a new board. So that's one thing you just got to consider. That's not a complaint. It's just thoughtful consideration.
Well, I don't know. Again, I need to rely on Patty and her knowledge. I don't know if you need all of the members within Fishhawk West. Let's just take Sagewood as an example. There's 76 units in Sagewood. I don't know if I need 20% of all of the membership, which is 1,200 homes, or I need 20% of the 76 that are within the service area.
For your budget, Bert, it's just 20% of your service area, because you have your
Okay.
own budget.
Now, what about the delegate thing, Patty? Do we know?
The delegates, there's 19 delegates that have to be appointed from different portions of the neighborhood. So we have maps, and we were ready to vote. The board was ready to vote or push it through in September, October, but we needed more information. So
Okay.
Hey, Patty.
Huh?
Hey, Patty, for anybody that has questions about delegates,
Mhm.
the very first thing you need to do is go to the bylaws and read the bylaws. The rules and regulations and policies for setting up delegates. This is something I have wanted to do. And Bert, I'm glad you brought it up. It's something I've wanted to do since before I was on the board. And in fact, in 2020, I wrote a white paper on this for the board, outlining a 6-month process on how to
I
set up
remember
the
that.
delegates. So it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. And we have the last board broke up the neighborhood. And so the delegate neighborhoods are already established, except for a few of them were not. So we voted and we established all the neighborhoods. Now, like Patty says, we have to follow the bylaws and select 19 people and 19 alternates from around Fishhawk West to serve as delegates and delegate alternates. So I would love to get that done this year. Like you said, everybody should have a voice. But there is nothing stopping anybody at any time from coming to a board meeting and voicing their opinion for their neighborhood. And we will listen and take that on. Additionally, you can form a Sagewood committee, much like Westlake formed a committee. And everything that Westlake did to form that committee is in our historical files. And I've seen it, and I'd be happy to work with you, Bert, and send you those files, or point out where they are, because they're on the public facing share drive, and assist you with setting up a Sagewood committee if that's something you were interested in.
I'm interested in all of that, and I want the new board to know that if there's something I can do to help in any way in the background, folding letters, whatever, I want to see the community grow in the right way, and I think the new board is going to do that. I'm not trying to butter anybody up, and I understand there's going to be differences of opinion, but you know, you can't be derisive. You can't be, you know, you got to keep in mind that the whole financial responsibility of the whole community weighs on your shoulders and no one else's. So I'm glad we're at this point. I appreciate all of you. It's not an easy job. I don't even know why Mark would want to do it again. But I appreciate all of you, and you know, I want to help. I'll be up to talk to Patty tomorrow. I owe her a few things. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much, people.
Thank you, Bert.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Bert. Any other community comments? Sounds like nothing heard. One final round around the board, and then we'll motion to close. Anybody else? Any other comments? All right, that's it. I motion to close this board meeting. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Second, looks like Max seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful night.
All the best, everybody.
Have a good night.
Holidays.
Take care.